Oh crap. I'm gonna start making videos again. Whether anybody watched them or not, I'm gonna make videos because I want to document certain things about my life before I die. And I need to have these videos somewhere that they can be accessed. So I'm gonna make the videos and I'll post them, but I don't care if anybody watch them or not. I mean, I'd like to have subscribers and know that I have people enjoying my stories, but if I don't, I don't. I'm not going to get upset about it anymore. I'm tired of worrying about stuff that I don't have any control over. I didn't worry about it, but it kind of aggravated me when I posted a video. And people, when I said I was going to stop making videos, I even had some people text me and or comment and tell me to keep making them because I guess they watch them. I don't know, but it must be the same 2 or 3 people just watching each video because I'll post a new video every now and then. I get no views for probably sometimes for as long as I had the video up until I deleted them because I got tired of seeing no views on all my videos, and I just deleted everything. So I don't get mad. I'm not able to. I'll explain that during one of the videos. But anyway, it just aggravates me because at that time I was making the videos for entertainment. Hopefully, I was hoping people enjoy my videos and start getting some more subscribers and start having people watch my videos, but it didn't happen, so I just got aggravated and deleted the whole mess of it. I have about 50 or 60 videos explaining all kinds of things about my life and just sharing tons of stories, and I have no plan when I start a video, and I just kind of ramble on. So if you watch 1 or 2 of my videos, there's some things you'll notice about how I do things. Like I'll say anyway a lot. That's should be a drinking game, but you'd probably drink too much because I say it quite a bit. Seems to be my favorite word. I go back and I watch my own videos, so I enjoy them, so I guess I make them for myself. Anyway, I sit there and just laugh and notice little things that I do, little habits I have that, like saying anyway, I do it a lot, but I didn't realize I did it until I watched my videos. So anyway, that's how it happens right there. You know, I'm not living in America anymore. I'm from Mississippi. Not a good state to be from. I kind of hate telling people where I'm from because, I mean, you know, some people are proud of being from there, but they're known for some stuff that I don't want any part of. So I don't want to even be associated with it. Anyway, I got nothing to do with what my intentions were today. I mean, I can't say I had a plan, so I can't say it goes against my plan, but I kind of have an intention when I start a video, and it goes where it goes. Because my brain, that's how it works. I'm always doing 2 to 5 things in my brain at one time, always, never stops. I can't just do one thing because it is too boring. I've always been that way, but now it's even worse because I have unlimited time. So I just sit here and build shit and create shit and figure out shit, and well, that's a lot of shit. But anyway, just have all kinds of different little strings of concentration or brain power working on different things Well, one of my girlfriends just texted me. Anyway, I'll get back to her. She, they're, um, they're the worst. And that 15, 20 seconds, I got 5 texts, 6 texts. So it's just another one. I mean, Filipino girlfriends are the worst about sending a million little 2-word texts. They're not capable of putting it all into one paragraph. They got to send 2 words, then send you 2 or 3 more words, and just over and over again. I've told them don't do that. I don't want to hear that many notifications, and I've even blocked one because of that, because it got so bad. But I mean, they are crazy with that shit. Sending them little short texts, one after another, just, I don't even see how to get them typed that fast, but they do. I've got a wife in the Philippines, and I've got 3, I think I'm down to 3 girlfriends, but my wife knows about them. She's actually friends with one of them. She hasn't met the other 2 though, but they'll meet soon enough. I'm gonna bring them all to where I'm at as soon as I can, but I'm about to relocate. Let me go back to, like I said, I'm not in America anymore. I've been living in Nepal for about a little over 3 months now. Oh shit. I have to wipe my mouth. I'll explain that in a minute, but anyway. Where was I? Don't remember. Anyway, I'm in Nepal. When I got here on January 9th, I think it was, I was in Kathmandu. I was there for about 2 weeks. When I was at the hotel, and there was a big, I come out one morning, there was a big dog carrier in front of the door out in the grass area. I kind of wondered what a dog carrier that big was. I mean, I know it's for a dog, but I was wondering what dog, because I hadn't seen one around there at that up to that point. But anyway, somebody there at the hotel, I don't remember who it was, told me that that was a guest who had come over from Pokhara, which I'll explain it later, but anyway, and it was her 2 dogs, well, her and her husband. That's a long story. Anyway, later that day, or maybe the next day, I ended up, she was out in front of the building that has the help desk, the main desk at the hotel, and somebody, I don't remember who it was, kept telling me all that, but anyway, he told me there's a woman that owns the dogs, and that's the dogs. They were big old dogs. They're some kind of Himalayan Mastiffs. They're pretty large, very friendly. Well, if they like you. I think it's a different story if you're, well, let's just say them dogs recognize different races and like some and don't like some. It's a Nepali thing. They don't like Indian people here for the most part. And I'm getting to be that way too. I'm learning why they don't like them. Anyway, long story. Anyway, I've been in Pokhara since January. I was in Kathmandu for 2 weeks when I met. Her name is Meow Meow, whatever. I have a hard time talking. I'll explain why in a little bit. But anyway, I met her and she was out there. She was smoking a hand-rolled cigarette, and I was like, what is that? Because I was pretty sure it was weed, but I didn't smell any weed, so I was like, what is that? She said, it's weed. I said, huh. I said, is it easy to get here? And she said, well, yeah. So all you gotta do is just go on the street and ask, and somebody will have some for you. And I was like, what? I think I might try that. But anyway, she said, I'll get you some. Actually, she said, I smoked a marijuana in the joint to burn the hash. I was like, oh, that sounds like a good time. I mean, I don't do any well, what people consider drugs, except marijuana, which I don't consider a drug. I consider it a medicine. Big difference. Anyway, so hash is just some concentrated bud. Basically, it's basically like a little bit of plant material and a whole lot of resin, all mashed together, and it's when you get the good black sticky, that's some good stuff. Goodness, I mean, nothing here. I grew my own medicine back in the States, but I mean, I had THC contents that were, well, going by strain, should have been around 30 to 35%, which is very high. And I mean, 1 to 2 hits, and I couldn't tell you who I was for a little while. It was wonderful. Anyway, haven't had anything as strong as what I grew in America, but this black sticky hash is some good shit. I mean, well, pretty good. It's about like what people would consider not not okay weed, but not good weed in America. Now that you've got all the dispensaries and people growing these strains that have crazy THC numbers, it's hard to get weed that's not gonna get you high, unless it's not weed. But you should have seen enough by now to know what's weed and what's garbage. Anyway, oh, back to Mau Mau. Mau later that day or the next day, she smoked some with me, and I'd been a while since I'd had anything to smoke, so I mean, I have no tolerance anyway, and had less tolerance. I've got all these things I keep mentioning, but I don't explain why. I've got no tolerance for a reason also, which I'm going to explain very soon. Anyway, so she smoked a little with me, and I got the feeling pretty good. I was like, man, I want to buy some of that. She said, how much is it? Well, I asked her how much is it. She said 3,000 rupees, which is $20. I was like, for how much? She said, total, which is like 10 grams. I was like, that's pretty cheap. I want some. She said, I'll have it for you in a little bit. And sure enough, she had it in about a couple hours. I was sitting there with my little block of 10 grams of hash and happy as a clam. I couldn't wait to, well, she gave me some cones, I think it was. I don't remember, or papers, I don't remember. I can't roll because I'm one-handed. And I'll explain that in a little bit too. Anyway, so, and she gave me some cigarettes. So she's like, you tear a little piece of the hash off, real small pieces, and you make your own cigarette and put hash in there, and the tobacco burning will burn the hash. That's how you smoke it. But anyway, I did it. I didn't like the tobacco at all. I can't stand a cigarette. But that was how you got the hash to burn, which I do it a lot different now. But anyway, I'll explain that too. But I did that for a little bit, and second day I met her, she was like, she said, I feel like I've known you a long time, and I was like, yeah, me too. me and her just hit it off like we were best friends from the first second we met. And anyway, well, I haven't been doing that lately, but I guess it's gonna start back. I'll tell you why that happens too, but anyway, she said, why don't you come back to Picard with us and stay at our house? I was like, okay. It just, normally I would have kind of talked my way out of it, but I just felt like it was okay, and it was. So I said, okay, and she said, we're leaving this evening, but we'll send a car for you. I was like, okay. And her husband left that evening, and sure enough, the it's called a Scorpio here, but anyway, it's made by Mahindra, but it's actually a Toyota Hilux, maybe. I don't remember what model it is in the States, but here it's a Mahindra, but it's still the same vehicle with a diesel motor. Everything here has a diesel motor. I mean, even they get these little Subaru and Suzuki cars, little bitty, super compact, those small cars. All the taxi drivers drive, and they're everywhere. There's like millions of everywhere, and they all have diesel motors. Not all of them, but a lot of them have diesels. Everything has a diesel motor. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so the next morning, that truck showed up for me. So he loaded me and my stuff in my wheelchair and in the truck and headed back, head over to Bakara to her and her husband's name is Raj. Headed back to her and Raj's house, and that's where I stayed for about a month. Well, Raj used to own a hotel, but now he just manages it because of some financial disaster he created for himself. He had to sell the hotel, and now he has to lease his own damn hotel from the person he sold it to, so he can continue to run it and make money off of it. Anyway, that's a whole different story. I'll get into Raj and finances it later, but it's a whole ordeal in itself. Anyway, so I moved into their house and stayed there for a month or so. Now, Meow lives at the house with Raj's 21, 26-year-old, I don't know, somewhere in that range, son, and them two dogs. Raj lives in a hotel with his other wife, the one he actually likes, which she's a good wife. But Meow, she's a handful. She is fun to be around, but I couldn't be married to her, that's for damn sure. Well, I couldn't be married to a woman, period, but I'll explain that too. But anyway, well, if y'all watch my first few videos on my page, you already know I'm gay. So anyway, that doesn't matter about anything I'm talking about. What the fuck? Anyway, so I stayed at the house for a month, or maybe a little longer than a month. But anyway, I paid Raj 30,000 rupees a month, which is $210 a month to rent a room in his house. Had a big old 4 or 5 story house, nice house, mansion, really big house. But he can barely afford it, I think. That's later. But then one day Rod showed up and he said, I think you need to move to the hotel. I was like, okay. I was like, at least I'll be out there at the house, was away from everything. It's a nice little gated neighborhood that's away from all the busy parts of town and all the stuff that you wouldn't want to live there normally, but over here it's okay. So I was like, all right, well, I figured out later why he said that. I'll get into that later on, but anyway. So I was like, he said, I'll have a taxi come get you and your stuff tomorrow, and we'll move you to the hotel. And made it sound like it's gonna be this wonderful deal. And there I've had to pay $40,000 a month for a little room with a bed and a bathroom. That's it. So that was $280 a month for a room with a bed, nothing else. Anyway, I lived in a hotel. I'm in a wheelchair and I'm paralyzed on the right side. I can barely stand up and I can't really walk. If I have something to hold on to, or a cane or a walker, well, a one-handed walker, I can manage to get where I need to go if I don't have to go very far, but I can't walk. And he put me on the second floor, which here they call it the first floor, because the ground floor is the ground floor, and then above the ground floor is the first floor, which in the normal world it would be the second floor. Anyway, because him and his family took up all the rooms on the ground floor, and I did that for probably close to 2 months. And I just decided I'd climbed the stairs more than enough, and I was sick of it, and I was wanting to move. So I found a different hotel where I could be on the ground floor. Well, it was a hostel, it wasn't a hotel. And they had individual rooms that were like a deer camp, little deer camp setups or whatever. I liked it. It was wonderful, but it was very, say, primitive. There was no hot water. There was a bed, coffee table, night table, some little shelves with some drawers in it, and a bathroom with a cold shower. Man, it was cold. And I did that for probably 2 or 3 weeks. There I paid 24,000 rupees a month, which is 160 maybe, around there. So that wasn't, for a month is about 160. But then I ended up finding a apartment. So now I have a very large 2-bedroom apartment with a living room, a dining room, 2 bathrooms, nice kitchen, very large. The whole first floor of a building, and I have the whole first floor, ground floor, for 40,000 rupees a month. What Raj charged me for a room with a bed. That's it, a bed. 40,000 rupees. I get a damn big ass apartment, 2-bedroom apartment for the same price. That's $280 a month, which is a good price no matter where you are. But anyway, it shows me how much Raj was turned out to be. He tried to pretend like we were friends, but I never got a good feeling about him. I knew it was something I didn't like. I just didn't know what it was yet. But once I started finding out what real prices were like in Nepal, I knew that Raj was not my friend. Raj was a scammer. I still talk to Meow, but I blocked Raj and I blocked his son because his son is just like him. Anyway, everything I did, he was charging me these crazy prices. Like I recently asked a cab driver because it cost me 20,000 rupees to ride in that truck from Kathmandu to Pokhara, and that's $20,000, $140 to ride 150 miles at the most, and I didn't know what the price should be, so I figured that was the going rate, so I paid it, no big deal. Until later on, I made a friend on the street out there because I hang out on the street because I love to watch people. Anyway, I go and hang out, and I met this guy. He's a cab driver. I said, really? I was like, well, tell me how much. I'm going to follow my wife into Kathmandu. I said, how much is it to go over to Kathmandu and back to pick her up? He said, 15,000. I was like, okay, I got. Well, now, the last time, I was trying to fly my wife over when I was still in the hotel getting ready to move out. But anyway, I bought her tickets and she's supposed to fly in. But anyway, Philippine immigrations wouldn't let her leave the country. So anyway, they're assholes. I don't like them. Anyway, Roger told me he would call a cab and set up for me to go get my wife, and he told me, when I rode in a cab from that truck was a cab, but anyway, that was 20,000. Raj told me it was 25,000 to drive over and back to get my wife and come back. He said it's 2 ways. I said, no matter what, that guy drove 2 ways when he came to get me to move me to Pokhara. So why am I paying another 5,000? Anyway, I asked my friend on the street, I was like, how much to go to Kathmandu and come back? He said 15,000. I was like, man, Rajman, he was paying the guy 15,000 and then taking on an extra 10,000 just for asking somebody to do their job as a taxi. So he was almost doubling the price for nothing. That's the way rides worked. Everything involved me losing money. Anytime I talked to Raj, he had his hand out and he had double the price of whatever he's like. He used to ask me every day, you want pizza, you want pizza? And for a little bit there, I ordered pizzas some days. I was like, he's like 1,000 yen, or not yen. That was a long time ago. I lived in Japan. 1,000 rupees. I was like, whatever, that's $7. I thought that's a decent price. Well, once I started getting out and seeing things for myself, I realized that pizza he was bringing me cost 600 rupees, and he would almost double the price and charge me 1,000. That's how Raj worked everything with me. He was nothing but a scammer. But anyway, if you're ever in Pokhara, Nepal, do not stay at the Maple Inn Hotel because that guy's a scammer. Anyway, well, now you can only stay in Nepal for 5 months out of a 1 year period. So coming up on my 4 month mark, so I've got about a month and a half before I have to leave here. So I'm gonna go to Europe. I've finally settled on Albania as a country that I want to go to. They has a very good cost of living, which I need because disability does not pay as much as it should. But anyway, oh, my shirt gets twisted up. Anyway, I'm gonna move to Albania soon. What was I get lost. That's the reason I wander and ramble, because I forget what I was talking about and just start a whole new story, which I'm gonna do now. All these things I was talking about, I do now that it sounds kind of, well, I don't remember what I said, but anyway, I died a little over 2 years ago. Well, 2.5 years ago, I died and came back. But when I was dead, I went to heaven. Some people say they see a tunnel and they see this bright light and all this other stuff. I got none of that. It's like somebody turned the light switch off and I was in heaven. I wasn't here in my body anymore. I was suspended in a white, it's hard to say, I can't tell you what it was. It's like a white mist sort of thing, but it was solid and fully supported you. But when I'd try to grab it, it would disappear. It was weird. But I now know that that's called the white void. It's a waiting area for people who are there but aren't staying. And I didn't know, but I was gonna have to come back here. I wish I could have stayed there. I'll go back soon enough. I cry a good bit. It's been a little less lately, but it's because I had a stroke almost 7 years ago. I was taking steroids because I was a bodybuilder. Anyway, I ruined my life. I'm paralyzed on the right side now, and that's not why my speech is messed up though. I had 3 years ago had stage 4 cancer in my neck there, and had to have surgery to remove that tumor. And while he was in there, he decided to destroy everything he touched. Dr. Anand at Baptist Health in Jackson, Mississippi. He's supposedly a good surgeon, but the guy's a jerk. He just cut things and removed things, and I mean, he removed a tumor and he removed my trap, the muscle on top of my shoulder. See the difference? I've still got that, but on that side I don't have it. He cut all the nerves to my mouth, so I can't feel my lips or my tongue very much. That's the reason I can't talk very good. Plus I had to have radiation and chemo, and the radiation destroyed my teeth. So most of my teeth have broken out, have broke off at the gum line. I've just got a few left, and I've had a few removed. I'm gonna have them all removed as soon as I get to Albania. Albania is known for its good dental availability. Supposedly they have extremely good dental services and it's pretty cheap. So I'm gonna have all my teeth removed and some false teeth made so I can talk again. Well, as good as I can talk with no feeling in my tongue. That guy cut all the nerves in my mouth just to be an asshole. And he went into my throat and messed my vocal cords up. So That's the reason I have a hard time talking. And I don't even sound like the person I used to be. Well, there's a reason I say the person I used to be about things. When I was dead, the reason, the way I understand it is the reason I died and I needed to leave my body was because there were some changes that I needed to be out of my body for. Also, during my near-death experience, I also had what's called a walk-in soul experience, which is you get a soul change out. Your old one, if your old one is wore out, and mine was wore out and just giving up. I was having a lot of mental problems because my soul had given up. But anyway, I got a new one. This thing is unbelievably powerful. I was crying at something that has a condition called pseudobulbar affect, PBA. It's caused by brain damage. It's basically a disease. I consider it a disease that makes you cry or laugh uncontrollably, and it has nothing to do with anything. I mean, stuff I talk about kind of sets it off, but it doesn't have to be anything. Sometimes I just start laughing or crying for absolutely no reason. It's like, if there's a bad time for it to happen, that's when it's gonna happen. It's like, you know, emotional Tourette's or whatever. It's embarrassing. And I don't get embarrassed no more, but that's embarrassing. When you're in the middle of a damn store and you just start crying for no reason like a damn baby, it's embarrassing. Or you start laughing like a fucking idiot and can't stop. That's embarrassing too, but the crying's worse for me anyway. But I don't like either one of them. It's a horrible disease, I guess. But I did to myself. Nobody made me take any steroids but me, so it's my fault. So I deal with it. I forget what I was talking about. Was I here doing something in heaven, doing something? Well, let's just go back to heaven because that's where I want to be. I was suspended in that white, like a mist that was made of cotton candy, fluffy. I mean, it's hard to explain, but it's just like you're suspended in this stuff. And when you're there, you know things and you can feel things that you don't hear. Like I could feel how big that area was. It was like unlimited, big as the universe, waiting area, and I could feel other people in there with me, but I couldn't see them. I never saw anybody else while I was there, but I could feel them. They were in there somewhere. And I had to do that because I only have one hand. My right hand's paralyzed. That's all it does. Anyway. So I could feel other people there, but I didn't see them. I didn't talk to anybody, but I just remember I wasn't paralyzed. I was moving my right arm and leg like normal. I was not handicapped anymore disabled while I was there. I could use my right hand because I was using it to try to grab the white stuff, but every time like, you could feel it, it was solid, but when you close your hand to try to grab it, it disappeared. I remember saying, I don't know if I said out loud or I'm not sure, but anyway, I know I said, "What the fuck is this?" I said it twice because I couldn't figure out what was going on. I didn't know I was dead. I didn't figure out I died until I'd been back in my body for a while. I was like, I just went to heaven. Um, I was sitting in my recliner and I coughed real hard because I was smoking weed. Anyway, I was coughing and I coughed real hard and I heard a pop in my head and it was an aneurysm and it killed me. And I'm not sure how long I was dead, but after I came back, I remember I just kind of slowly waking up. It was like, like I'd been in a deep sleep, but I was dead. But anyway, I kind of woke up and I'm not sure how long I was gone, but my daughter was there in the room with me and she never even noticed that I died, so it must not have been too long. Because I had to tell her that I had died because she didn't know. But it took me a little bit to figure it out, but I was like, I died. It comes and goes quick. Anyway, I was like, I died. And I was like, nobody, it's the easiest thing in the world to do. I spent my whole life being scared of dying, and now I can't wait to do it again. Once you do it, if you come back, you can't wait to die again. PBA is horrible. Sometimes I do this all day long. Sometimes I don't do it for several days in a row and think it's over maybe, but it's not over. It may take a little break just to make me think things are better, and then it kicks my ass. Oh, I'm tired of it. I can't wait. Anyway. I have all these different trains of thought that are going on in my head now. I can't say any of them fast enough to get them all out, but I try. But I have so much that going on in my head at one time always that I just had to pick the one that I may be able to finish, I may not. I mean, who knows? Anyway, there's nothing on this earth that feels anything as good as even a fraction of how good it feels in heaven. I can't explain it to you, but there's nothing like it. Heaven is heaven, and it's called that because it's just wonderful. I mean, I know it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to me. I'll get into the after effects because the trip to heaven is just a small part of the story. All the changes that were made to me and the improvements are the real story. But I'll get to it eventually. I just tend to have random thoughts and I can't control it, but it is what it is. You know, there's a lot of this stuff that when I talk about it, I don't tell everything because I sound crazy enough just for the stuff I do tell, but there's so much more. But I'm pretty sure somebody would have me locked up in an insane asylum if I told the whole story, but guy can do. I can do anything. That's my bedroom, my caregiver's bedroom, the dining room, living room, kitchen's around the corner, 2 bathrooms that way. Just figured I'd show y'all what 40,000 should get you in the palm, not just a bed. If any of you ever meet Raj at the Maybelline Hotel, tell him I said fuck you. That fucking scammer. Anyway. Oh. Anyway, one of the things that came out of my cancer treatment was they told me that because of where they would have to point to radiation, that I may have dry mouth for the rest of my life. Goodness, they were so wrong. It's like I have enough saliva production for a damn group of people. So I'm always having to take the time to swallow and having to wipe my mouth every now and then because these corner leaks causing that asshole cutting on nerves to my mouth. I can barely feel my lips and my tongue, and made my mouth leak at the corner there sometimes. So many things are embarrassing that have happened to me in the last few years. I can't stand it. I was always so vain because I was actually a good-looking man at one time, believe it or not. But it's over. Anyway, now I just sit here and be a waste of space, pretty much. I mean, mentally, I'm better than ever. And my whole life, I've been pretty smart. I've never studied anything in my life because I never had to study. I've had to take so many tests at colleges and different classes, different things I've had to take for jobs. And as an adult, I've never made less than 100% on a test, and I've never studied anything in my life because I never needed to. I'm not bragging, I'm just telling it like it is. I was always, well, I got tested when I was about 15, and I was going to a psychologist at the time, and he gave me the test because he wanted to know how smart I was, because he had a feeling that I was fairly smart because of the things we talk about. So he gave me an IQ test, and came out very high. I mean, well above genius level, a lot higher than his. I thought that was funny. You know, I'm sitting there with this doctor, and my IQ was way higher than his, and he knew it. Entertaining. So he had this 15-year-old kid sitting there that had a brain that was smarter than his. Never thought about it quite like that, but it is kind of funny when you think about it. Anyway, so I was always pretty smart, but after I died, my brain was changed, and now it's like I'm a billion times smarter than I ever was before. There is not anything that, if I think about something, I know it. I mean, if I see something on the internet, I just like different types of quantum physics. I've become interested in that, but there's all kinds of quantum mechanics, quantum consciousness. I mean, there's so much stuff, and I became interested in them. As soon as I think about it and show any interest in my brain, I've got it. I have the information. I know it. I understand how the whole universe works because I want to know. And if I want to know, I know. That's one of the things that was given to me during the time that I was dead. But I was a full-blown sociopath. I mean, I wanted to kill everybody I ever met in my lifetime. I was the most dangerous person that I could think of. I was not a nice person to be around. I was not safe to be around because if I saw you, if I talked to you, I'd already planned on killing you. But I spent my whole 55 years fighting those urges because I didn't want to go to prison, because I loved me and only me, and I didn't want to spend my time in prison because the one person I cared about was me, and I was not going to let that happen. So I was able to resist the urge to kill people, but I wanted to kill everybody I ever met. So I was a full-blown sociopath. You know, every serial killer is a sociopath, but every sociopath is not a serial killer. I was the ones that was able to fight the urges until I died. The one person that I needed to kill to stop everything was me. I just didn't know it. Well, not the way it happened, but anyway. So I was a psychopath and a sociopath. I was a crazy, dangerous, mean person. Mean. I was mean to everybody I ever knew. You know, my daughter, after, a couple years ago, my youngest daughter was still living with me, and one day we was laughing about something. She said, "You know, I never saw you laugh before." go. One thing about this is when I really started crying because of something I think about. I can't stop. Anyway. You know, when she said that, you know, as a sociopath, I had no emotions, I had no feelings, and now that I'm cured of being a sociopath, but also I've got emotions and feelings like a normal person, but they're way exaggerated because I've never had them before and have a hard time controlling them. Anyway, when my daughter said that, I realized that none of my kids had ever really seen me laugh. I wish I could go back and raise my kids as the person I am today, not that person they knew. No, I was born without a conscience, so I never cared about anything I did to anybody. I just didn't care. There's only one person in this world I cared about, and you're looking at him. That's completely the opposite. I couldn't care less about me. I just care about. I'm about to make another. I'm making another video in a little bit if I can get this to stop.